Also, if you're on Zoom, you know that you'll be reminded on Monday nights. We're going to continue our Monday night news analysis. The big news, for those of you that may not have heard it, is that Leo Holman will be joining our news analyst team, and he will be broadcasting on the 6th.
Knock it off.
Broadcasting live on WNN 1470 AM, 95.3 FM, iHeartRadio, and the World Wide Web. This is Make America Think Again with your Google Blacklisted host, Tom Trento.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
All righty, we're zooming along here on Thursday, the 2nd of April, 2020. We just finished our half-hour Bible, culture, God study, and we're trying to zoom in our guest for today, Willy G. And I was on the phone with Willy G. and he's pushing buttons and didn't know you have to put your camera on your computer, and unbelievable.
It's very confusing. Zoom is not intuitive. It is not an intuitive piece of software. The person who wrote the code is just bad.
Well, he's worth 36
hang on a minute. How come we've got so many people on Zoom? I think it's a mixed bag.
No, I'm talking about it's not intuitive. The person who wrote the code is not intuitive. It's not intuitive.
Oh, you mean for the guest to sign in?
Yeah, initially just for the first time user, the layout is just wrong. But once you like everything else, once you know how to do it, it's
But
easy.
the guy who did it, Mark, is worth $6 billion. How much are you worth?
I know, not $6 billion. I guarantee you that.
But look, we're happy, ladies and gentlemen. We have great news to tell you. We broadcast from. Are we on the video thing and all of that?
The video thingy?
Yeah. I have my pro-life shirt on today because it's Pro-Life Thursday.
That's right. We still have God Exists behind us.
Yeah, we have God Exists back there, whatever, But we're extremely happy that we're here today.
Yes, we are alive.
Because yesterday around 2 o'clock, we did not know if we would be in our studio. The governor of the state of Florida decided, and he's being criticized for this, and that's going to be one of our items we're going to discuss today. The governor of the state of Florida finally called for a statewide shutdown, shelter in place, all non-essential people. Now you find out if you're essential or not. If they did that in Washington, D.C., the place would be a total ghost town for the rest of eternity. You talk about bloated bureaucracies. But we have in Florida, primarily because of everyone trying to escape here from infected areas, and it's understandable. I probably would try to do the same thing, but we had to shut it down, and now only essential businesses. So we're scrambling around saying, hey, we have a commercial radio station, we do news, we do opinion, we do all this stuff. Are we in, are we out? And around 4 o'clock or so, the state came out with its guidelines. And there we are, clearly listed. Everyone associated with a radio station on the technical side and the host side are considered, which makes sense. We're providing information that's helpful for the general public. Is considered an essential business, and we will stay open for the next 30 days. What does that mean? It means we didn't have to try to broadcast this thing from our basements like Joe Biden. It's hard enough having a studio and having people in different locations and trying to elevate it to the level we're elevating the Zoom platform.
Okay, I have Willy on the line.
All right, we'll bring him on in a few minutes. It's hard enough trying to do that, but you guys hang in there with us. Our apologies if you get reverb and all of this once in a while. We are making a fundamental transition in our very limited studio, which means for those of you who may not be as observant as others, that means send us some donations, will you please? $5, $10 a month, whatever you can do, go to theunitedwest.org, and you'll see on the homepage a little button to donate. We sincerely appreciate that. We have, you'd be amazed at how we put our TV studio together for you.
Duct Tape Productions, man.
Duct Tape Productions. We have great cameras, but we're utilizing iPhones for some of this.
I'm about to upgrade that.
Yeah, well, we got cool stuff going on. And we will get to the point where we'll have a very stable production and the capability to bring people in from all over the world, experts. We have experts in the political arena, state experts we're bringing in next week, Trump experts that we bringing in more of them. We're staying on the campaign, obviously. We have subject matter experts. We have one we're working on who lived in Wuhan, China years ago and is going to tell us stuff that's going to flip you out. More and more, it's looking to the point even a U.S. senator has now called for the forgiveness of the U.S. debt to China because of them screwing around and messing up the world. That's earth-shattering. We owe China a couple $1 trillion, and a U.S. senator saying, heck with them, they should forgive it. What they put the world through, they put us through. You know, there may be something there. Probably got a lot of amens, amens.
That's a very dangerous game.
That's dangerous. You know, then very people start getting mad and bullets start flying. And we're gonna in the days ahead lay out the horrendous attitude of China, the world plan, the Belt and Silk Road, and all of these different elements that resulted in this worldwide pandemic, democratic, dem panic. And we got the Dems panicking too. We got some of that today. So we got a lot of stuff here. I invite you to join our daily study, Bible study, 10:30 a.m. East Coast time, right here, same bat channel, same bat cave. I spend about 20 minutes going over very interesting information and then opening it up for comments or questions, and we'll go back and forth on that. And the idea is, whereas we're hardcore at 11:04 every day till noon on the issues, and we're highly opinionated, on the Bible study, we're highly opinionated and very hardcore too, but our goal is to help others dive into this love letter from God, the Bible, and find comfort, peace, solace, and alleviate anxiety. You know, you can alleviate anxiety by counseling, by drugs, and all of this stuff, meditation. We believe that the first place to look is in the Word of God. Learn what He has to say about His people being in very, very difficult situations, and through that, your faith. This thing I'll define in the days ahead. Your faith can be strengthened, just like a muscle. You know, when we send our SEAL Team 6 guys or Dev Gru guys, same thing, or Delta guys, when we send them on a unique mission, they may go out. They were going out 10 times a day, but let's say they're going out once a day now. When they're back in base camp, they're hitting the weights. They're lifting weights. They're running. They keep their body, their tools they need for physical combat in top shape. Analogously, if you are trying to alleviate anxiety and understand how God can help you in this situation, the tool that needs to be strengthened is this thing called faith. And it can be. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Tremendous time while we're all self-isolated to exercise this thing called faith. And right now we have with us a man of faith, a friend of the show, a friend of the United West, a friend of unborn children worldwide, particularly here in South Florida.
Yep.
And
he's banging pots in the background.
And banging pots and pans in his wooden cabin in the middle of nowhere. Please, ladies and gentlemen, here's where we need special effects of
Willy G.
Please welcome Willy G.
Let me pull out my harmonica. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Excellent. Yes.
I'm still social distancing out here in my log home on 7 acres. I got no neighbors, so I'm good right now. All my two cats don't have the coronavirus, so we're good as of right now.
Hey, everything I learned about social distancing, I learned from my cat. You know.
That's right.
All right.
Actually, a beautiful day out today, and just that little cool front that we had coming in last night. And you just, it's just amazing. It's surreal that this is going on here with this entire country at a standstill, and we've been blessed with this beautiful weather. No beaches to go to, no parks to go to, no movie theaters to go to, and you're like, okay, this is really, really crazy, man. Really, I just hope it's over here soon, but God knows, they're talking June, July. We don't know. Have no idea.
Yeah, at 11:14 in the morning, Willy Guardiola is with us, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Trento, your host, WWNN 1470 on the AM dial. If you're in your home, you want to just listen on the radio. You could, if you have a radio. Anybody have a Willy G? In your gigantic wood cabin, do you have a radio where you can tune in a radio station?
I do. I mean, I've got my stereo system set up here in my nautical room downstairs, but I don't have it on right now.
But you have a radio
around with some notes and things coming in.
Now, people don't have radios per se anymore. They got all these devices and everything. But if on one of your devices, iHeartRadio, wherever you are in the world, ladies and gentlemen, go to iHeartRadio, WWNN 1470. Search for that. Click it in. You can listen to us anywhere. Now, if you want to really be cool on your smartphones, you can go to theunitedwest.org, our website. On the homepage, we're live streaming this. You can click on that on your iPhone or your Android, and you can watch the show. How amazing is that? You know.
Yep.
Is Willy on video or just?
No, he's too scared. He's too scared to go in
here. Willy, what's the deal? The women. I get these emails. The women want to see you all the time. What is the deal?
I got a good radio face, so I'd rather just stick this way.
All right. Well, here's what we're gonna do. We got a lot going on, and yes, people are saying we are essential. Thank you, all of you telling us we are essential. We know that.
And I have people trying to glom off of this. Hey, can I become a reporter for you guys so I can become essential?
Oh, they want to be an essential person. Oh. Yeah. They can pay us to be
I know.
We have 700 people out there.
All donations make you a reporter here right now.
You know what we could do? This is serious. We did this with the United West. We had people around the country that would go do stuff. This is on our counterterrorism work. Go do stuff, and then we would play their stuff. But I don't think we can do that because nobody can go anywhere. But if we make them one of us and give them press passes, but then we don't want people getting sick. I don't know. We'll figure that out. Yeah. But hey, Willy, before we start and get into a couple of items, the hypocrisy of the state of New York on the pro-life issue. And the begging for help to save people while they're flaunting their elitist position of keeping organizations open that kill people. That dichotomy, we'll look into that. And before we get into that, we have a little segment here that we do once in a while called Lessons from the Corona. And the latest one for me is, and this may apply to all people, but I want you to come up with a lesson from the corona during this crisis. What are you learning? And I'm learning that I have to be very careful not to let my belly spread like the Wuhan virus. I was gaining like a pound a week, eating comfort food, just going here and there. And I try to go on the scale. I go on the scale every day to be like a minder. Boom, slapping me on the side of the head, going, what are you doing? It's another pound. And finally I said, that's it. And now I'm drinking these protein things from Costco or Slim Fast or whatever. I got to get back down. I got to get to my fighting weight. Don't let your belly spread like the Wuhan virus. What do you got for a lesson from the corona?
Well, next time I see if I'm in the studio, hopefully in the next few weeks, I may have to look at you and say, what do you do? Looking at your stomach there. So anyway, no, the one thing about the coronavirus that I've really learned in terms of how the churches are being closed down and pastors are being arrested, et cetera, and that to me is just beyond belief that churches are being forced to close down, pastors are being arrested, and yet they're pushing and promoting abortions at all these different abortion clinics here, all throughout the entire country. I have been promoting and pushing going to church, which is one small Catholic church up here in Tequesta that you guys know that I've been promoting. It's quiet. I was there last Sunday at 9:30 in the morning. 15 people inside the church. Nobody within 45 feet of me. The church sits about 150 people. But to me, it's so important that there's people that are still going to church and receiving the Holy Eucharist and praying. I go into that church, guys, with a prayer list from here to the wall and back, praying for everybody on that prayer list, and starting off with President Trump and Vice President Pence. So it's important that everybody does a little bit of something. And to me, I take pride in going to that church, praying for our country and praying that this coronavirus finally comes to a halt and we finally level out and flatten this curve.
Yeah, I don't know, Willie. I don't know. There's a big debate on that, and I'm ambivalent. I'm leaning more on the side of I don't like the fact that the churches are closing down or being told to close. I obviously don't like that. Churches, synagogues, mosques, got to go to everything. I mean, you can't, because of the way our country and our state is, you can't say, the Catholic Church over there could stay open, but the mosque over here can't stay open. Or the Presbyterian Church over here, it's all or none. And whether or not it's not religiously discriminating, it's a health issue. And is there a way in which you can keep a church open or any public gathering? These initially suggestions, now they're going into mandates, where all public gatherings, I mean, sports event, you're a former NCAA official. There's no basketball games. There's no games nowhere, no nothing. I mean, how do you reconcile the fact that it's essential to kill this curve right now by arguing we should keep a place open for a public gathering, which if nobody goes in that building, there's no chance of anybody spreading it or getting it. But if anybody goes in that building, there's a chance because it could be spread by contact.
Yeah. I hear you. You're loud, Tom, and I'm with you 100%. But just step back a second and say what is essential and what is not essential. To me, the most essential thing in the world is salvation, is going to church, is God. That to me is an essential business. So what we're saying is we're closing off, churches and saying that it is not essential. Think about that. Just let this sink in, because that's what I've been, dealing with the last few weeks. To me, God and church is the most essential thing. Granted, I'm not going to be going to some mega church where there's 1,500 people screaming and dancing. No, but when you go to a small Catholic church like I'm going to on Sunday, and there's just a few people there, and I'm going there for one purpose, and that purpose is to pray for this country, pray for this coronavirus to finally come to a halt. And that, to me, is essential. That is very, very essential. People might say, wow, that's a little... Honestly, just step back and think about what I'm saying here. And to me, salvation of souls is the most important thing. And I think if we are praying in a fervent manner, quietly, and praying for these people that are infected with this virus, I think it's going to go a lot more than taking people off the beach and et cetera.
All right, I'll give you something to think about too. I'll think about that, and you think about this. Then we'll move to the next issue. But before I tell you what I want you to think about, there is I think a state senator in Florida who is, DeSantis came under a tremendous amount of pressure to close the state down, and he closed a lot of it. I mean, the CNN and those guys are making it like DeSantis was saying, "Come on down and party, everybody! You can do it." He wasn't doing that. He was giving authority to local people, to mayors. He's a Republican, decentralized. Hey, you folks handle this. As the data came in more dramatically, and this shows you how we got to be real careful for the socialist takeover of this country.
That's the point I want
during the midst of all of this. And Nancy Pelosi's building her fourth package for a total socialist takeover. So we'll discuss that. But let me go back.
And here's also. Well, go ahead.
Let me go back to the God thing for a minute. You said what's most important is God and church.
Yeah.
I'm with you on half of that, Willie. I'm with you on the God part.
Yeah.
If the government said no more believing in God, and we're finding that it's contributing to a foolish attitude, and we have this study from wherever, from Harvard. We have a Harvard study that says people who believe in God are spreading the coronavirus. Then we have a revolution on our hands. All right. I mean, then there's a direct attack on the essence of free speech, First Amendment, religious freedom, all of that. But for there to be an unequivocal mandate that no one gathers in public places other than essential places defined. You can argue. You can argue all day long if you want a church. I wouldn't put a church in there. Then, as long as the suppression of the belief isn't there by the state, and the suppression of prayer. You could pray, Willie, and I know you know this because you do this. You can pray in the quietness of your home. You can pray in your ponds. You can pray with your alligators. You can pray with your squirrels.
Here's the problem.
You can pray everywhere. You can be like St. Francis, St. Willie of Northern Palm Beach. You can do that. But, once we start getting one church, then there's more people. And my dear charismatic friends who sometimes, pull the trigger before they aim sometimes. I mean, they be packing out and singing and dancing, praising the Lord to heal this. And, I see Muslims in other parts of the world having big services saying that Allah will heal this, Allah will heal this. And they're getting sick like crazy in Iran. So, Mark, you were going to say something?
Yeah, it's, I think this whole Corona, lessons of the Corona thing,
We got Willie G, Christian on a Mission, with us today. We got J. Mark. Where is Midwest Dick? I don't see him there.
We locked him away. He's in jail.
We decided that Midwest Dick is not essential.
Midwest Dick, hey, he's there. Oh, he's
I hear his voice, but I don't see his pretty face in the control room.
He's not here. I'll show you. He is not here.
You just said, Mark. And then I want to continue this, and Midwest, jump in. I want to continue this possible socialist grab, which was just critically important. I'll tell you why. But I'm going to give you a word that I think will help all of us in the midst of this crisis. Another lesson from the crisis, from the corona. We're told to practice social distancing. Right. How many feet is that?
6. Well, it was 6 feet. And it's grown larger.
6 feet, basically. Yeah. All right. Well, first of all, the concept makes no sense. Social.
With my Bloomberg is 5 feet. So I don't know if they changed it or not.
It makes no sense. Social distancing. I mean, one word, distance, implies time and space. Distance, a measurement. Social is sort of an interaction with people. Doesn't it make more sense, I'll throw this out, doesn't it make more sense to call this physical distancing?
Yes.
And to maintain social contact through more creative and maybe asymmetric ways like we're doing right now? Isn't this a good time to
but it
to
takes
increase the social contact by keeping a physical distance?
See, this is the whole problem with technology. The whole problem with technology. It separates people yet brings them together too. Like, for example, when the power goes out in your building, all of a sudden you're, oh my God, there's neighbors around me. I get to talk to Charlie and Steve. When I grew up, in Indiana, we didn't have cell phones and all this other crazy stuff. We actually went out and rode our bikes and talked to people, got in trouble and not in trouble, but we lived a life. What we're doing is we're becoming introverted inside these little cocoons we've created around ourselves. That's the problem. We stop knowing who people are anymore. Everybody wants to email you, text you, and do everything else with you. And I go, no, just call and talk to me. And it's just very frustrating, but it has some really great benefits too. But we never ever pay attention to how it's ripping us away from everybody around us.
No, very good points. And so I would say in Midwest, I want to hear your thoughts on this. You're from the Midwest.
I think the word social is really important for propaganda and everything else. If you have a problem, whatever the answer is, part of the answer has to be called social. So you have social justice. Really don't talk about criminal justice anymore. In fact, social justice, everybody gets a trophy, etc. Kind of hurts criminal justice where right and wrong happen. So I think social distancing is part of the campaign. It's a problem. We need something, so we'll call it social distancing, although physical distancing is a better word. But social is good. Social distancing, social justice.
All right, so we're going to call it physical distancing and keep your social stuff. People can. Here's what I see happening even in my neighborhood. People, I didn't even know so many people knew how to walk, and I'm going, why are all these people walking? Well, they're not out. Typically in South Florida where we live, there are ocean towns and there are resort towns. And 5 o'clock, it's happy hour, and you can't move in Palm Beach, in Fort Lauderdale, in West Palm. You can't move in these towns at 5 o'clock. Jam-packed, unbelievable. Everybody's out, having a good time, spending money, restaurants. Now these people can't go out, so they're all walking. They're all walking all over the place. And this concept of physical distance but social interaction works perfectly in a neighborhood because everybody's walking, and when you pass each other, you all move 6 feet away. It's a cool kabuki dance, even in all the supermarkets. But now people are socializing, and this is the good side of the word, Dick, because a lot of times the left will hijack a good word and then twist it to accomplish their leftist agendas. But socialization is a good word, to be social with somebody, and that conversation, hey, how you doing? Hey, and they'll even stop and talk, keeping the distance. Hey, what's going on? Hey, I live around the corner. This is a very interesting time to do all of that. And look, it's new ground. We have never been in this. This is why, and I'll introduce the next topic here at the bottom of the hour. Tom Trento, your host, 11:31 in the morning, East Coast time. Here we are. I'm looking at that camera there, okay. Here we are, WNN 1470. Willie G's on, Midwest Dick, J. Mark, and Mother Mary out there. Here's the next issue, lady and gentlemen. Because we are every day breaking new ground. And I feel for the president. You can see him aging up there every day. The stress. You talk about anxiety and stress. He better open his Bible and start reading it. He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders, literally, and all those idiots that were attacking him on Russia and Ukraine and quid pro Joe and everything you can imagine, they've been quiet a little bit. Now they are starting to circle him. And there's rumors of investigations and blaming him for deaths and all this nonsense. But because we're breaking new ground. All those idiots that were attacking. Oh, we got that thing again. Because we're breaking new ground each and every day, there are good people trying to figure out the right way to go. And no one ever in the midst of a crisis ever made every decision perfectly in the midst of a crisis. You simply don't have enough information. You don't have enough assistance. You don't have enough whatever. Why didn't Governor Cuomo buy the 15,000 respirators, ventilators in 2015 that were recommended to him to buy at a cost of $1.5 billion, $1.5 billion, B with a B? Why didn't he buy them then? The $1.5 billion, their state is broke. He thought it's not worth the amount of money because you got to store them, then you need people to run them. It's not a good expenditure. Oh, now he's being criticized for not foreseeing what could happen 5 years later. Unfair criticism, but it's certainly unfair to blame the president to say, you should have known about this, and now you should make them overnight, make these things overnight and send them to all these different governors. Impossible. But this is the new ground we're breaking, where the left now is starting to coordinate, and you're seeing it, and take advantage of what is a natural consequence of an unknown circumstance, and they're exploiting it for their socialist agenda. We're seeing this from AOC, from Ilhan Omar, and from Nancy Pelosi. What do you think, folks?
Well, it seems to me, Tom, one of the observations you use Cuomo as an example, and maybe pull back with Willy in a little bit, this is the same Cuomo who supports late-term abortions and as well as perhaps infanticide as essential. Meanwhile, he's complaining or people, he's trying to save lives on the one hand with the president related to the virus, but he is not shutting down abortion clinics where they are still performing as an essential task, in quotes, late-term abortion.
All right, let me. I'll read this. Listen to this, Willie G. And everyone. Tom Trento, 1135. I'm reading now from the New York State of New York Attorney General Letitia James. So the AG for the state of New York is Letitia James, and a black woman, which is ironic. I mean, abortion is devastating the black community. But here's what she said in response to Jerry Adams, Jerome Adams, who's our U.S. Surgeon General. He advised all healthcare facilities nationwide to reschedule all non-urgent appointments and elective procedures. But he said each state, again, this is the Republican approach. Isn't it interesting that the left, since 2017, was calling Trump a dictator, a totalitarian, and now when he's applying his principles, well-founded principles of Republican governance, allowing states to make their own decisions in light of the circumstances, now he's being called to be that totalitarian leader and demand that all the states do the same thing right now. This is the insane hypocrisy of the left. But reading from the Surgeon General, he said, I advise to reschedule all non-urgent appointments, elective procedures, and each state take its own approach in determining what is essential and non-essential. Immediately, the Attorney General, Willie G. of New York, Letitia James, said, to be clear, the coronavirus is not an excuse for federal, state, or local governments to curtail women's reproductive freedoms or limit their choices. Any woman who wants to go into a doctor's office or into a clinic today and get an abortion should continue to do so and be able to do so. And for those who do not feel comfortable leaving their homes as we battle COVID-19, we're fighting to maintain women's access to abortion and the abortion pill so their reproductive choices are not limited. We will do everything in my power, this is the Attorney General of the state of New York, to stop this attack on a woman's constitutional right to an abortion.
That's such an incredible outrage, Tom, just beyond belief. But think about that. Over the past 6 years in New York alone, more black babies have been aborted than have been delivered. That's in New York. Look what's going on in the Panhandle. I've been on conference calls the last 3 days. Pensacola. They have an abortion clinic up there. The Attorney General here in our state is just sitting back and not doing anything. Literally just a month. Hasn't said a word about this. women are coming in from mostly Louisiana. 80 women came in this past week in the abortion clinic at Pensacola. That's the most abortions they've had there in the past 10 years. They're all coming in from mostly Louisiana, Alabama, and Georgia, and going to Pensacola and having abortions there. And the Attorney General, Ashley Moody, is seeing all this. She's on different group emails I've been sending out. I've got one of our Florida congressmen that's up there, Mike Hill, who's from Pensacola, and he's watching all this stuff. I'm putting out an email this afternoon that's got pictures of all these cars coming in and everything. They're crossing the borders, and it's just beyond me that they're allowing women to come in for abortions. They're coming in by cab, taxi some of them, dropping them off at the abortion clinic, having an abortion, and then having been picked up later. It's unbelievable. That's taking place in the state of Florida, and nobody's doing a thing about it. That's what I've been fighting since this whole thing hit just the abortion issue right now.
Well, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, and you're listening to Willie G, Christian on a Mission. That's his organization. He leads the pro-life movement in Palm Beach County, Florida. He's also extremely active in the re-elect Donald Trump campaign. And right now, 11:39 in the morning, I have my pro-life shirt on today. Willie, you can't see it unless you're looking at this. And at 11:39, Tom Trento, your host, WNN 1470 AM 95.3. We're discussing the hypocrisy of the state of New York, where on one hand, they are begging for help to save people who are dying. On the other hand, touting their elitist position to continue in light of and in spite of the limitation of resources and the critical nature of the situation. They're affirming their position to be enabled to kill unborn babies. And New York was one of the first states after President Trump started appointing pro-life justices to the Supreme Court. And if you ever thought 215 days from today was not such a critical day, if you ever thought that, there may be one, maybe two more justices chosen by the next president, 215 days from today. It's how quickly it's coming. And the left is going nuts. And in light of a pro-life president, New York State 2 years ago moved very rapidly to write their own state statute protecting and enabling abortion throughout the pregnancy, all 9 months. And don't let anybody tell you anything otherwise. Listen to what Planned Parenthood in Los Angeles is doing right now. They took this crisis and they are requesting donations. You ready for this?
For mass. For mass.
They're requesting donations for what's called PPE, personal protective equipment, for the people doing abortions.
I know.
I mean, what? And they have this, very lovely letter. Oh, we're helping women in the midst of this crisis. Our people are on the front lines, and we need to protect our people. Can you provide a donation so they can have the proper gowns and masks and goggles and gloves and all of that to continue doing their work at this difficult time? And people sometimes question. People always ask me as a Christian, is God punishing our country with a disease like this? Does he do that? Does God do that? And right. I'll address that in the days ahead in the Bible study. But just in terms of theoretical possibilities, if there was a God who created everything and he came up with this kind of unique way to continue the human race through coming through its mother, and then somebody says, let's kill that thing that God has brought together, you think the guy who started all this might be a little pissed?
Yeah.
You think? Maybe, Willie G.
It's beyond me. I mean, just this whole thing. Tom, as soon as the coronavirus hit, and it became an issue here in the United States, the light bulb went off, and I said, how can we relate this to abortion and, specifically to Planned Parenthood? And, you know, I thought, okay, this might be our window of opportunity to really come after Planned Parenthood to cut them back from the 345,000 abortions they performed last year in 2019. I called Jim Sedlak, who was the pioneer pro-lifer in the country. He runs an organization called STOP, STOPP, and the PP is for Planned Parenthood. And he said, Willie, you know what? I didn't even think about that. I need to put you on a radio program as soon as possible. So I went on a couple of Fridays ago, and we spoke for 40 minutes about this whole situation. That's when everybody else in this country literally started saying, hey, this is our window of opportunity. The Mark Harringtons with Created Equal, Dr. Monica Miller, Eric Scheidler from Chicago. All these people started jumping on this, and it was like, okay, this is our opportunity right now. Meanwhile, back here in Palm Beach County, a lot of our pro-lifers are saying, Willie, you know, just let this epidemic, this pandemic go by, and then afterwards we'll go and do our rallies and protests and all. Said, no. Now is when we need to do our protest. This is our window of opportunity because the nail salon next to the Planned Parenthood in Boca is closed down because they couldn't have intimacy in there and more than 6 people at one time. Yet 10 inches separate the walls there, and Planned Parenthood is still open right now, 6 days a week, killing babies. It's just beyond me. It really is, and that's why we went down there a couple of weeks ago to protest them. And of course, we saved the baby with Jessica. Just to give you an update, we found her a beautiful home in Naples. She's going to be going out to one of the pregnancy center homes out there, and she's elated. So 19 years old, she's going to keep her baby.
Wow.
And that amazing. To me was the biggest saving and the biggest grace and the biggest miracle of this whole entire pandemic that we were able to save a baby there. So just an update on that.
That is great news. You know who's going to be very happy that she did that?
God.
Her kid.
Yeah.
Her kid will be very happy. I have seen it. You have seen it so many times. The children of near abortions are eternally grateful for their mother for not doing this, and for all the women out there. And we still, I don't think we finished post-production on our show, the effect on male.
Yeah, we did.
We have it? Okay.
It was up.
I'm thinking of another show, but I'm going to push that one out. Where our friend came in and shared his experiences. And for women out there listening, or if you know someone who has been through an abortion or is considering one, you don't have to do it. And if you did it, you can get over this spiritually and a whole variety of ways. And Willie's in the best position. Willie, give them your number to contact you. You can always contact us here. At the United West, TUW at theunitedwest.org, TUW, the United West, TUW at theunitedwest.org. We'll help you out. Or Willie, how can people get in touch with you if somebody wants to talk about this?
Best way to do it, every time I go on radio, they call. Area code 305-610-2992. We've got quite a few different groups out here that take care of girls just like Jessica, 19, pregnant, going to school, and okay, who do I turn to? Where do I go? She's got an incredible support team that we put together. And this girl now, I text her back and forth on a daily basis, and what a phenomenal human being. This girl now, we took her to see the movie Unplanned at one of our friends' house last week, and she had no idea, no clue what was going on at a Planned Parenthood. That movie just opened up her eyes like you wouldn't believe. And you got to hear this girl now. She's come out of her shell, out of her cocoon, and we've seen a transformation in this girl in 2 weeks that is unbelievable. So that's a case in point that the Holy Spirit moved us to go down to that Planned Parenthood on that one Saturday. And when people are saying, "Oh, Willie, can't do that, social distancing and all that," hey, when they saw me hugging this, a stranger in a parking lot. And the people say, "Wow, well, what's Willie doing?" 19-year-old black girl, don't know her from Adam or Eve, and hugging her in front of that Planned Parenthood while they were all looking out the window. That was an amazing thing, something that I will never, ever forget in my lifetime. And I can't wait till November 16th when she delivers this little baby.
Yep. She should call it Willy.
Yeah, that's why I say Willy G.
Hey, Willy, can you stay with us?
Little Willy G.
Can you stay with us for the whole show?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, here's what we want you to do. It's going to be a little treat for the audience. It's 11:48 in the morning right now. We've got about 10 minutes left. Tom Trento, your host here, with Willy G, our special guest. Midwest, I got a question coming to you in a second. So,
well, I want to talk about that one chip story. I really want to get to that chip in the hand story that you had listed on the thing.
Yeah, I got that. Yeah. It may be better tomorrow, I'm thinking.
No,
Tomorrow's kind of a weirdo day because I got OJ, too, tomorrow.
Okay.
On the Tiger King. So we got weird stuff tomorrow. Tomorrow, we got OJ Simpson talking about Tiger King. And it's just fascinating. And we got a story coming out of Sweden. Coming out of hell, basically, where they're starting to implant chips into the hands of people. This is right out of the book of Revelation for all the accounting and medical stuff, just like you do with a dog. I mean, we do this with dogs. We'll do that tomorrow. But Willy G, we're going to, on this Pro-Life Thursday here, we're going to have you serenade us for about a minute. You're going to close our show with a little riff from whatever mouth harp you want to grab. And I will tell you when you can play, and that'll lead us out. Okay, Mark? Do we do that?
What? I'm sorry, I was texting.
We're going to have Willy G do about a minute riff on one of his...
Yeah.
Well, so grab whatever you can. Come up with a little riff. And you're going to...
I got to go grab my harmonica case. There's like 50 of them in there, so they pull something out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to love this because Willy G is proficient and professional and amazing.
Oh, by the way, I want to put out something here technically for people. If you're listening on Zoom and on YouTube, you're going to get a reverb back, okay? At the same time, either listen on Zoom or listen on YouTube. Don't try to do both.
Okay.
I think the sound on Zoom is fine, by the way.
Yeah, and the sound on YouTube is fine, too.
All right, Midwest Dick, this is a question for you. Yeah, it looks like we're straightened out. It looks like it's for real, Midwest. It looks like Joe O'Biden, he was, you remember him, he served with...
we'll have to mute Willy here. He's getting his equipment
out. He's in the toilet, it sounds like. Joe O'Biden served on that O'Biden-Obama team back in the White House a few years ago. Mm-hmm. Well, he's gearing up, and he went on record. Now, we talked about this. This makes it really tough for Cuomo because he said he's going to pick a female. And I don't think he said a female of color, but it looks like Gretchen Half-Wit from your former state may be his running mate.
Yeah.
Midwest Dick, tell us about that.
Well, I think that'll be interesting because I think people will have a direct comparison between the two parties. Gretchen Whitmer is basically a younger version of Hillary Clinton with a little bit of Bernie Sanders wrapped in there. So this will be a great move on Joe's part. She's an up-and-coming person. The problem is that she's been supported by the George Soros organization. She is absolutely part of the New World Order. If you look at it, she's got a state that she's proud of, where she has an attorney general who has a hate crimes unit. And we are on the hate crimes unit, by the way. Sharia Crime Stoppers is on the list that this Governor Gretchen Whitmer is going after. Her attorney general has a hate group that they're monitoring, and we are one of 31 organizations. She also has an attorney general who is a woman married to a woman, and so any church, for example, that would preach the Bible.
Wait. She has an attorney.
Dick. What?
Dick. You. I don't know if I understood you right. She has an attorney general married to a woman. You said.
Yeah, the attorney general is a woman. Her name is Dana Nessel. She's married to a woman.
Okay.
So marriage between a man and a woman is not something the governor supports. The governor absolutely has on her hate list, her hate crimes list, people who speak out against or basically would say that marriage is between a man and a woman. They would be considered potentially hate crimes, people to be monitored and perhaps indicted. She has come out against anybody who would speak about Islam. So she is a definite one world order. She would be supported by the Chris Lam people, all the above. So she's a tremendous study, and I'm actually glad she's getting elevated because it's an opportunity to compare her and what her presidency. Eventually, the vice president on the Democratic side would be the president, no question. So Gretchen Whitmer is a great choice by Joe because it lets us understand what Democratic Party is all about.
Wow, that's spooky because she is very competent. What's her background? She comes out of business, law. What is her?
She was an attorney in the Lansing area, worked in various legislative offices, was a state legislator. But basically, if you think she came out of nowhere, if you think she came out of nowhere, it's kind of interesting. Remember what kind of a state Michigan is. Hey, Tom and everybody. So Michigan is a state where the Republicans are frankly not that different than the Democrats. And this is what set up her candidacy. So remember, this is the state where Abdul El Sayed ran for governor and did very, very well. So she's very tight with the Islamic community. And it's an example, really, of the red-green axis in power in Michigan.
Well, this is really dangerous because if Biden picks Kamala Harris, no big deal because he's getting California anyway.
Right.
If he picks Stacey Abrams, which I don't think he would, but he's got a few little votes there, little electoral votes. If he picks Gresham Halfwit, he gets Michigan. I think there's 11 or 12 electoral votes. That's significant. He most likely is going to win if win the state. Biden would if he picks her. Very, very dangerous situation.
Well, in addition, she's a governor, so she's going to get a lot of attention. I think she's going to get a lot of, oh my gosh, the media, the media, CNN are going to love her. She's going to be taking shots while Joe sleeps through the virus. She's going to be taking shots at Donald Trump. These other people are legislators. Legislators are going to become less and less important. It's a governor who has the ability to issue executive orders that are going to go head to head with Trump. So you're going to have a comparison of the governors that are keying off on Trump. And you can compare Gretchen Whitmer, for example, with another kind of governor, maybe Governor DeSantis. To me, because the Democrats really don't have an intelligent person at the top of the ticket, they're going to be promoting governors like Gretchen Whitmer to go after Donald Trump. And I think it's going to be pretty effective.
It's going to be very, very effective. And undoubtedly, she will become the president even if he remains the president. She will be the de facto president. The powers that be in Congress aren't going to go to Joe Biden. They're going to say, Joe, look, you go out there. It's going to be like the Queen of England. She's the figurehead for the United Kingdom, but the Prime Minister runs the show. It's going to be like that. Joe will be the king of his own world. And Gretchen Whitmer will be the prime minister, the real president. Very dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. But we got a couple of minutes left. We're going to bring you a lot about Gretchen because we have Midwest Dick, who knows much about her, and we're gonna give you information that's going to be scary. Before we let you hit your harmonica, Willie G, what real quickly, 30 seconds, and then you can start playing. What should people do who on the Trump campaign now? What should they be doing in Florida?
Well, it's amazing. It's a great question because so many of our people in Palm Beach County have just been at a standstill. Voter registration, everything stopped. We're not going out to the green market. We're not going out to the library or anything. And so pretty much, everybody's just at a standstill. I'm the only one that's really still going out working twice as hard.
All right, let's do this. Willie, let's do this.
Life thing.
Let's do this.
Right now,
everybody's Willie, stop.
Everybody go to armyfortrump.com, armyfortrump.com. You can do stuff there. Willie, got about a minute. It's all yours. You just keep playing,
and we'll let the radio station take us out.
Yeah,
okay.
Don't stop, Willie. Rock and roll, baby. We'll see you tomorrow, folks.
Take care, guys.
All right.
Come on,
stop playing.
Don't have the coronavirus blues.
Okay. AJ, you can take us out whenever you want to.
Yeah. All right.